Did you know that over 82% of lies go completely undetected? That means right now, today, someone could be looking you straight in the eye, lying through their teeth, and you'd never know. And get this, extroverts tend to tell more lies than introverts. Sounds crazy, right? The body language signs of lying are real, they're documented, and they're hiding in plain sight every single day. The question isn't whether someone has ever lied to you. The question is, are you trained to see it? But here's the good news, and I genuinely mean this. The science of spotting a lie isn't some superpower reserved for FBI interrogators or seasoned detectives. It's a skill, a learnable, practicable, life-changing skill rooted in neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and decades of real-world research. In this video, we're going to walk through 8 FBI-backed body language signs of lying. The subtle, easy-to-miss signals that trained investigators and behavioral experts look for in every conversation. Shall we dive in? Let's uncover what the body reveals when the mouth won't tell the truth. Starting with sign number 1, a sudden shift in their speech patterns. Here's where it all starts, and it's something most people completely walk past. When someone is lying, their voice and mannerisms of speaking may shift noticeably from their baseline. When someone lies, their speech changes. Not dramatically, not in a cinematic way, but it changes. A retired FBI criminal profiler named Greg McCrary has built an entire interrogation strategy around this one insight. His method? Start with easy, non-threatening questions. What's your name? Where do you live? How long have you worked here? These aren't the important questions, they're the calibration. He's building a baseline, a picture of how this person naturally talks when they have nothing to hide. Then, when the hard questions come, any shift in rhythm, pace, vocabulary, or hesitation becomes a flashing signal. Think about it in your own life. Have you ever asked someone something straightforward and felt the energy of the conversation change? Maybe they slowed down. Maybe they sped up. Maybe their sentence structure suddenly got formal and stilted when they're usually casual. That's not random. That's the brain working overtime to construct something it didn't actually experience. Put simply, truth flows naturally. Lies have to be managed. And that management shows up in the voice before anywhere else. Sign number 2, non-congruent gestures, when the body contradicts the mouth. The second sign is non-congruent gestures, when the body language doesn't match the words. For example, if someone says, "Of course I'll cooperate," while shaking their head slightly, that's a red flag. The body is often more honest than the mouth. As psychologist Dr. Ellen Hendrickson puts it, the gestures are the truth tellers. Ready for the part that no one dares to mention? Sometimes, the most obvious body language signs of lying aren't in what someone says at all. They're in what the body does while they're saying it. Dr. Ellen Hendrickson, a clinical psychologist at Boston University, calls these non-congruent gestures, movements that don't match the words being spoken. Here is a classic example. If someone says, "Of course I'll cooperate with you," while shaking their head slightly, that's a red flag. Or they say, "I have nothing to hide," while subtly crossing their arms and pulling their body inward. The words go one way, the body goes another. And here's the critical insight. When the two conflict, the gesture is the truth teller. The reason this happens goes deep into how our brains are wired. As neuroscientist Antonio Damasio's research on somatic markers shows us, the body stores emotional truth. When a lie is being told, the limbic system, the emotional core of the brain, registers conflict, and that conflict leaks out physically, even when the person has rehearsed their words perfectly. So next time someone's telling you something important, watch the whole person, not just their face. The body is having a conversation too. Sign number 4, they say far too much. Vocal tone is another giveaway, because liars don't always go quiet. Sometimes they talk a lot. Harvard Business School researchers found that people trying to deceive often flood conversations with excessive, unnecessary detail. They're not recalling the truth, they're building a case, and building requires more material. These same researchers found that liars tend to lean heavily on third-person pronouns, he, she, they, to create psychological distance from the lie, as if removing themselves from the sentence removes them from the responsibility of the deception. It's a subtle but measurable shift. They also, interestingly, tend to use more profanity, a stress response as the cognitive load of maintaining the lie pushes language processing to its limits. Former FBI Special Agent Jim Clemente describes something similar. The liar who is over-explaining isn't being thorough, they're performing. Truthful people don't feel the need to convince you. They trust that the facts will do that. Liars know the facts aren't on their side, so they compensate with volume. Here's the thing. The next time someone's explanation feels just a little too airtight, just a little too layered with detail you never asked for, that's worth noticing. Before we continue, I want to acknowledge something. If you've made it this far, you're already paying a different kind of attention than most people do. You're building a skill that most people don't even know exists. The next 5 signs go deeper, into the eyes, the hands, the voice, and one that genuinely changes how you think about self-declared honesty. Don't go anywhere. Sign number 5. The eyes, not where you think. Let's address the myth head-on, because it's been misleading people for decades. You've probably heard that someone looking left is lying and looking right means they're telling the truth, or some version of that. A landmark study published in PLOS One dismantled that idea completely. Eye direction alone is not a reliable indicator of deception. But here's what the eyes do reveal. A 2015 University of Michigan study found that 70% of people in verified deceptive media clips maintained direct, deliberate eye contact while lying. Think about that. Liars have learned the folklore too, so they overcompensate, holding eye contact a beat too long in a way that feels slightly unnatural, almost rehearsed. What's genuinely meaningful is a sudden change from whatever is normal for that person. Someone who naturally holds warm, relaxed eye contact suddenly becoming rigid and locked in. Someone who shifts their gaze at a very specific moment in a very specific sentence. That context matters, and it loops back to the most important foundation, knowing someone's baseline before you try to read the deviations. Sign number 6. Covering the mouth or eyes. This one is almost primal, and that's exactly why it's so telling. When someone covers their mouth as they speak or shields their eyes as they answer a question, something very instinctive is happening. Former CIA officers documented this extensively, noting that some people even close their eyes completely when delivering a lie, especially in response to a simple question that shouldn't require any thought at all. The psychology here is straightforward. We cover what we want hidden. Children do it without even thinking, hand flying up to the mouth the second the fib comes out. Adults learn to suppress it, but under real stress, the reflex breaks through. Covering the eyes is a form of psychological withdrawal. If I can't see your reaction to my lie, somehow the lie feels less real. What this implies is that these gestures are especially significant when they appear in response to low-stakes, simple questions. If someone shields their mouth while answering, "Where were you on Tuesday afternoon?" that's a cluster signal worth filing away. Not a verdict, but a signal. Sign number 7. Excessive fidgeting due to anxiety. Think about the last time you were seriously anxious. Did you sit completely still? Of course not. The body under stress moves, and deception is one of the most stress-inducing states a human can experience. The brain is managing 2 parallel realities simultaneously, and the fight-or-flight response activates whether the threat is physical or social. What this looks like physically? Fidgeting hands, foot tapping, shifting in a chair, rubbing or wringing the hands, clearing the throat repeatedly, touching or pulling at hair. According to former CIA interrogators, blood actually withdraws from the extremities during acute stress, and the unconscious fidgeting is, in part, the body trying to restore circulation and calm the nervous system. This connects directly to what Stephen Porges's polyvagal theory teaches us. Under perceived threat, the autonomic nervous system activates protective responses that we don't consciously choose. The liar isn't deciding to fidget. Their nervous system is responding to the internal alarm of deception. And that's one reason these subconscious body language signs are so much harder to fake or suppress than the carefully chosen words. One important note: fidgeting alone proves nothing. Someone nervous about a first date will do all of the above. It's the cluster that counts. Fidgeting plus over-explanation plus voice change. Now you're reading a pattern. Sign number 8. Pronoun drops and deflection questions. And here comes the part that ties it all together, because this sign is hiding in everyday language and almost nobody catches it in real time. Jim Clemente, the former FBI special agent, noticed something fascinating in his interrogations. When people lie, they often unconsciously drop pronouns. Instead of saying, "I went to the store and I picked up groceries," a liar might say, "Went to the store, picked up a few things." That dropped "I" can signal that the person is distancing themselves from the statement, because deep down they know it isn't true. Similarly, when you ask a direct yes or no question and someone responds with another question, "Why would you even ask me that?" or "What exactly are you implying?" That's a delay tactic. It's buying seconds to construct a response. Kevin Colwell, a professor of psychology who trains law enforcement in deception detection, notes that innocent people tend to answer. They might ramble, they might overshare, but they answer. The reflexive redirection of a question back at the asker is a behavioral flag worth watching. Put in plain English, honest people typically don't need stall tactics. And when you notice both a pronoun drop and a deflection in the same conversation, that's two independent signals pointing at the same thing. Now, it's important to remember that these cues shouldn't be used in isolation. Also, none of these signs is a verdict on its own. They're signals. The most reliable approach is to establish a baseline for how someone normally behaves, and then look for deviations from that baseline. And, of course, when in doubt, trust your gut and remove yourself from the situation. They're pieces of a puzzle that you, now, have the tools to start assembling. The goal isn't to become paranoid or suspicious of everyone you meet. It's to become more present, more perceptive, and more protected in the conversations that actually matter. The ability to spot a liar is, at its deepest level, the ability to pay honest attention to the full human being in front of you. And in a world that's constantly trying to distract you from exactly that, that's a rare and genuinely powerful skill. Well, my friends, I hope this video has given you some powerful tools to navigate the tricky world of truth and lies. In the comments below, let me know which of these signs resonated most with you. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be the first to know when I post my next video. Until next time, stay vigilant.